Hey, welcome back to JU Outdoors. You might remember this place. You bet. Ralph got his garage finished, and it's beautiful. He did a great job. You'll recall when we were back here last in the summer, and we were trying to fill in the floor. But it's all finished, inside and out. Let's go on in and say hello. Whoa! How you doing, Ralph? Husky Bob.
Good morning. What are you doing out in this angle of the woods?
Well, I heard somebody picked up a Workmaster plate for the BX bucket, and I just had to come along for the ride.
Yes, it did. It looks like it's going to be a great fit and a good help for me to get things moved around up here.
Good stuff. Jeez, garage looks great, Ralph. Great job.
Welcome to the new garage.
Yeah, she's beautiful. Car lift and all, eh?
Heat's on too. That's the nice part for this time of year.
Well, hey, I'll take some heat, being that I don't have any. So, hey, let's take a look at this Workmaster plate, see what we've got to do. I understand the install is quite different than what I did on my LX.
Yes, it's a little bit different. It's a little smaller bucket and not as big or strong of a bucket, so it's a little bit different. But first thing what we need to do is put the plate and get it center of the bucket. From the instructions, it says 12.5 inches from either side, and
You're right there.
we're on.
Now that we have the Workmaster plate centered right on the top of the bucket, you're going to want to clamp it down nice and tight before we do any further work. The first holes you're going to want to drill are on the front side of the bucket, as you see here. You're going to start with a center punch, and then you want to graduate your drill bits, starting preferably with something as small as a 1/8 and work your way up to the 7/16 size for the bolts. The steel on this bucket is very, very strong, so it's difficult to just try to drill a hole with your largest bit. And don't forget some lubricant, because you're probably going to need it. Jeff has included all of the grade 8 hardware that's needed to install this Workmaster plate on your bucket. Most of it is going to be 7/16, but there's going to be 2 bolts that are 1/2 inch. You want to put those 2 bolts aside for now, and with the holes completed on the front of the plate, you're going to want to put the hardware in for those 3 holes. Tighten them up and torque them. I believe you're torquing these to 60 foot-pounds. It'll be in your instructions. With the front 3 bolts in place and torqued, it's time to put in your 2 rear support brackets. You'll notice the top of the bracket has 2 elongated holes, and there's 1 specific hole on the bottom. It was really smart of Jeff to elongate the holes on the top, because if your bucket is a number of years old and it's seen a little bit of action out in the forest, it may not be nice and flat and level like a new bucket, which is exactly what Ralph found. We had to use a hammer and a little bit of persuasion to knock out a few dents and a few undulations in the top of the bucket, and having these 2 elongated holes gives you the opportunity to fit that bracket on very easily. Once slid underneath, you're going to take your 7/16 hardware and affix the 2 top bolts, and you're going to want to tighten them down. With that hardware firmly in place, you want to make sure that the bottom of the bracket, or the angle of the bottom of the bracket, rests on the angle of the inside of your bucket, as you see here. In Ralph's case, we just had to give it a little bit of a tap with a small hammer, just to make sure it was nice and flush. Then we center punch the hole, and we begin graduating drill bits right up to the 1/2 inch size. With your 7/16 hardware in place on top of the bracket and the 1/2 inch hardware on the bottoms, it's time to firm them up and torque them. You'll find the appropriate torque values in the instruction sheet that came with the hardware. The installation's done. My friends, it's literally that simple and that quick to put it in, and even someone like myself that's not a mechanically inclined person can do it very easily. The Workmaster plate for this BX bucket is made tough. It's made out of 1/4 inch thick steel plate. It comes with 2 5/16 forged grab hooks with working load limits of 4,700 pounds. There are 2 5/8 inch grab handles with a 5,000 pound working load limit, a standard 2-inch receiver in the middle. It's laser cut, CNC formed, it's E-coated, and it's powder coated. All right, guys, I'm out of here and on to the next project. Take care. Thanks for having me, Ralph.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Cheers. All the best. Well, another install. Big thanks to Jeff down at JU Fabworks. Love the brackets you're making. As Ralph had mentioned to me several times, he kept wanting to pick one up because as he was moving materials around, building his garage, he just kept finding that it would have been pretty handy having those D-rings or some hooks to hook the materials into the bucket. Would have made it a lot easier, but he's got it now. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Have a wonderful week with your families. Please be kind to each other, and I'll see you again right here. I'm Gord Potter, and you've been watching GP Outdoors. Cheers.